This is episode number 328 of the InnerFight podcast with Dieter Roylance. Welcome back to the InnerFight podcast, and a big shout out to our show sponsors, Smith Street Paleo. As always, rate and review the podcast over in iTunes, and we will send you a goodie bag full of Smith Street Paleo. Where you are in the world, thanks for tuning in. Let's jump into the show.
Welcome back to another episode of the InnerFight podcast. Today we're joined by Dieter Roylance. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks, guys. Good.
Thanks for taking your time to talk with us. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit about you. Let's start about where you're from, your background, how growing up as a child was, and everything.
Okay, cool. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. Growing up as a kid, very much into sports, basketball, running, athletics. So came from a very athletic background, but also did a fair bit of study after college and coaching and stuff. So that's sort of my background.
Very active kid.
Is that something
Very much so.
synonymous with sort of, we hear about it a lot, mate, like Australian lifestyle? Is sport something that's ingrained in you at a young age, like almost involuntarily, or is it something you choose to do?
Yeah, we used to get out a lot. There wasn't as many computers and stuff around when I was growing up, so we got out a little bit more than the kids these days. Sport's a huge part, especially in Melbourne. We've had the Olympics here in the 50s, and so, we've had a huge, sporting, a lot of football here, Australian rules football. That's sort of the home of it. So, yes, there's a lot of sport here. There's a lot of good athletes come from, sort of the Melbourne area and Victoria, so the whole state. So, yeah, it's very much, a lot of sport in schools and things like that. So it's a real high priority down here.
How do you think that has changed to today, fast forward to today? How do you think sports...
Sports are still pretty good. Unfortunately, administration is taking over a lot of sports. There's a lot more administrators rather than athletes these days, which is killing sports. And there's a lot more, I think, technology that is killing sport as well. Too many people are looking at stats and figures rather than if an athlete can play or not. Instead of, so it's a little bit of a big bugbear of mine, but draft camps and all these sort of things, combines, it's not really going to be how an athlete is. And if you look at drafts and, anywhere from Tom Brady from the Patriots to Isaiah Thomas, 5'9" for the Celtics, you look at these great athletes and they weren't picked, they were both last picked actually. So in their drafts, and Brady's going to go down as one all-time greatest.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Especially after the last Super Bowl this year. But, so you look at stuff and they go too slow, can't pass. But, you've got to be able to play the game. So I think sports is... We follow a very similar way to the US. We tend to copy a lot. So our sports here are going very much along, those sort of lines of, copying technology rather than looking at athletes that can actually play.
Yeah.
What sport was sort of your favourite when you were growing up, mate? What did you sort of take to sort of like easiest, or what?
Initially, it was long distance running. I was running 10K races when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
Which my poor little 9-year-old daughter doesn't believe me. I was run 2K, but I was. And then basketball took over.
Right.
So basketball was my main sport. So I played a little bit of Australian rules football towards the end of high school, but basketball was always my passion and love, and that was what I wanted to do. And people tell me I wasn't going to be tall enough. I wasn't American.
How tall? How tall are you?
Only 6 foot. So,
right.
Yeah.
Not tall
I'm
enough.
not African American either. That's tall enough. No. But I love the sports and played for a long time and came back, had a couple of comebacks through my 20s and 30s, but done now.
What was your worst sports, man? What was your worst sports?
Swimming's a sport that I least enjoyed.
How come?
Although I'm a land-based athlete. swimming, water and land athletes are two totally different beasts. So,
I agree.
generally, people who can swim generally can't walk, have trouble walking. And trust me, I've trained plenty of them, and they're not very coordinated. It's not something they do well. So, it's swimming wasn't never for me.
Mate,
I can swim, but not fun at all.
Obviously, sports become a very big part of your life, and we're looking forward to sort of jumping into that. But at a young age, at 9 years old, when you're running 10 kilometers, what did sport mean to you, and how did it sort of impact your life at that early age?
There's always the challenge to go faster, the challenge to win, the challenge to beat someone else. It was always about finding a different challenge, and not too many kids are running 10Ks at 9 years old, and so it's one of those things that you really want to push yourself, see how far you can push yourself, see how far you can push your body. So it's always been that one motivation is to see how much pain I can go through, basically.
Was your motivation at that young age, did you want to win the whole time? Was that like something that was at the forefront of what you were doing to win?
Yeah, unfortunately. Yep.
This sounds like a story there, mate.
No, it's just, that's something that you push yourself and it's sort of ingrained in you. Some people it's ingrained in and some people it isn't. Some people just grow up that way. Yeah. And that was just something that I would prefer to die than lose. And I've got many injuries to prove it. Yeah. But that's led me to a lot of different good places and, in business and, it teaches you a lot of good strategies. Yeah. Sports and how to work with people and how to train by yourself. And, I think people are really missing a lot of learning tools and, things that you can learn from sports. And people these days, don't understand the concept of, team sports and the philosophy of sports and learning different skills. And I have these battles these days with my daughter's associations and the different things that she does.
And how old is she?
That they don't understand. She's 9.
Okay.
But everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets this. There's different teams that don't score. But then the kids aren't taught anything, and they're taught, that mediocrity is acceptable. But when you get out to the real world, you can't be mediocre. You don't get a job.
Yeah.
You don't win at anything. So there's a lot of things that I think people are missing and trying to give everyone a chance. But, there's plenty of people out there that weren't good at sport that are highly successful at other things. You've only got actors or musicians or, business people. Bill Gates probably wasn't running around winning too many races at his point, but it's still something that he still, can learn that he might not be good at that, but he can be good at something else. So it's not just sports, but teaching everyone to be mediocre and that you can just not really matter, that you don't win is not important. Is probably wrong in my view.
Yeah, I agree with you massively.
That, otherwise we will be here all day.
Yeah, but it's true. I remember being at an event not so long ago, and sort of all the kids that managed to finish the race got a finisher's medal. So they're running around with a medal on just because they managed to finish it. If they walked, if they crawled, if they came in 30 minutes after the winner, they got a medal. Yep. And at the end of the day, I think for a kid, a medal is a medal. Some kids understand the difference of a gold medal, a silver and bronze medal, but they're dishing out, everyone gets a finisher's medal. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? This is just bullshit because they all feel like they've won. And I think it's great that some kids, kids participate and they should be commended for participation. But dude, you've just come in half an hour after the winner. You're actually a loser.
Yeah. But why is it that the system is now like that? How did it evolve into becoming such a everyone is a winner kind of system?
I don't know. Dieter, what's your thoughts on that, mate?
It doesn't work that way in real life.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets to, sell a #1 record. Not everyone gets to, make $1 billion, Bill Gates style. So you've got to look at it. There's a small percentage. Not everyone gets to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's a tiny percentage of the population that gets to go to the Olympics. And if you look at, different sports. You look at the 100-meter sprint. It's between 0.2, 0.3 of a second between first and last.
Yeah.
That's, pretty heartbreaking when you've got 4 years to come back again. I just saw something yesterday on Michael Johnson's. It's taken 20 years for Michael Johnson's 400-meter record to be broken. Yeah. It was just broken the other day, and it was by 0.4 of a second or something. It's taken 20 years, to break his record.
Incredible.
So, that's an amazing time from 20 years ago. And if you look at technology and all this and timing and, all the different advances in recovery, and, it's a fraction of what the limit is, and the body can only do that. So as I said, you've got to look at, dude's got to be able to run, otherwise there's no point. You can take every different timing and technology splits or reaction time, whatever, but if you can't put it all together, it makes no difference.
Absolutely.
But it's funny how today, we probably watch more sports than we've ever done, and yet we still have a system that makes everyone a winner, even though we can clearly see in professional sports that it's a margin of a second or an inch that can make the difference between the winners and the losers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had guys miss the Olympic teams by 0.06 of a second.
Wow.
It's 4 years of work.
Wow.
You've got another 4 years to go again.
And you might be too old by the time the other 4 years comes around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 8 years of work to be an overnight success, because that's what people will call it.
Yeah. Mate, let's jump into a little bit of the work that you do. What do you actually do? How's it come around? And you're obviously into physical training and performance, so talk us through all of that.
Yep. I don't do much. No, just all luck, boys, just all luck. Performances are probably the key, but it's a number of different things from doing recovery to nutrition, to the strength training to energy system stuff. So it really depends on who it is. Obviously, I've done a lot with swimmers, Olympic snowboarders, so a whole range of different things. I mean, a lot of team sport stuff. So whether it's professional AFL players here or rugby union or whatever it is, I've done a lot of that stuff. And then there's a lot of them getting people to do what you want to do. So you really want to empower people to make them do that extra bit of work, or make them, get a little bit of extra sleep, or, have them trust you so you really can get them the most out of them. So, I've done it young athletes to older athletes. I did Grant Hackett's come back when he made the world championship team.
Wow.
When he was 33, 34. So, so it's one of those things that, it's a different thing. Like Grant was older, so he'd done all the work. He'd had 6 years off, or 5 years off. He'd done the work, but he needed recovery more than, that, because he had that muscle memory and that capacity already, whereas a younger athlete needs to train a little bit harder, so you need to, I had to convince him to rest more. Younger athletes, you generally have to convince to work more. So it's a different thing, but then they have to trust you as well to believe that you're telling them the right thing, and so it's really empowering them to then, believe and come to you and say, hey, what do I do for this? How do I do this? And, really, coaching's a real skill and an art that, again, a lot of people are too technology-based and reading books and saying, well, this is how we should do it. This is how, Phil Jackson says it's done, so this is how I should do it. But, coaching's a very individual thing, as you boys probably know.
Yeah.
To get results, you need to be able to empower your clients or your athletes or whoever it is to get what you need to get.
How did you develop all your knowledge and experience to be able to be a performance coach and help people improve in those small things to achieve greatness?
Yeah, well, I started coaching when I was young. I was 17 when I started coaching. I was still in high school. So, I coached my little brother's basketball team, his representative team, to a state title. It was my first year of coaching, and they went through undefeated all year. So, I suppose I had a little bit of natural ability to coach.
Yeah.
And then I went and studied. So then I studied and so I did my degree, and I did a graduate diploma, and then I did a master's degree. I had time in between all those. But then I wanted to be sort of the first, comes up again, the first to do different things in Melbourne. So I travelled overseas to study from this person or that person and just try to find the best people that were in the industry that actually had results.
Yeah.
And I suppose I was lucky enough that we didn't have social media and all these fake people that claimed to have results, but I actually went to people that had good success with training people, and you gather knowledge from them and you gather knowledge from the people you study with. So I always try to find the people that, keep in contact with the people that are really switched on, results in different countries. And, I'm pretty lucky now that I've got a network of people in, nearly every country in the world that I can go and say, whether it's Germany or the UK or, Dubai or Canada or the US, wherever it may be, I can tap someone on the shoulder and say, hey, there's some, you're in the area, or what's this on nutrition, or what's this on, performance, or whatever it is. So it's one of those things that, you've got to put the time in and the money to get it. And that's, like anything in life, you put the time in and back yourself, and it should come through.
So it's really just being open-minded and seeking new knowledge and getting to know mentors and reaching out to them and reading by yourself, and maybe not so much studying in school, or how would you say about that?
University gives you a base knowledge, but it's not practical, and it's not really exactly what you want. You can take little bits and pieces from it. But then again, people that are just going through university or college have got no practical experience. So a lot of the stuff you're learning, you're not applying to anything. So it's like, well, why am I learning this? It's not until, I went back and did my master's, and, anatomy was a hell of a lot more interesting the second time around, because, I'd actually been working in it. I wasn't first year university learning anatomy, and, first year university anatomy is not really what you're after. It's very much a party scene. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's very hard to concentrate on that. So you've got to look at it, what you can apply and what you can get out of it. And too many people just think that they can do a course and that's going to give them everything without them applying it or understanding who to apply it to. And you've got to have that practical knowledge. So as I got older, I always went into courses knowing different clients or situations where I wanted to be able to find information to apply it. So when I got back, I had the, pages of notes that I said, okay, you're a swimmer. This is how I can apply this technique to you. Or you're, a snowboarder, so you need more eccentric loading because of, all the impact from all the jumps, whereas a swimmer's got no eccentric loading. So, there's different things. And then, after class and lunch was always great because you chat with other coaches and you'd find out their experience and know what they were doing. So, often lunch was just as valuable as the 8 hours in class, because people had tried it or done something, or, different stuff in the UK. They've been exposed to different people than in the US. So, we used to have some great lunchtime chats and, learn a lot about that. And, so yes, we like this part of the course. No, we don't.
So you can't really define a trainer by his CV. Is that what you're saying?
By eating. Yeah, most of the guys usually eat pretty well. I can't believe the amount of guys that still prepare their food when they're away. Doing a course for me was a holiday. It worked too much. So, but yeah, people still prepare their food, have their little containers. I'm like, that's too much effort for me.
What, mate, when you're when someone comes to sort of wants your advice or wants to work with you, be it an athlete or be it a sports team, give you a call and they want help from you, what's your decision-making process? What are you looking for in an athlete or in a team for you to want to actually work with them? Because I guess in the early days you probably just wanted to work with everyone, but now you sort of, do you look for certain characteristics?
It's just their drive. If they don't have drive and if they don't want to win, then I'm not interested. Right. If they're not willing to put themselves on the line and sacrifice what they need to, then there's not a whole lot of point. If they don't win, then it's my reputation. So, I've trained some pretty, decent people on some high levels, and, it's not fun to have to motivate someone the whole time. You want someone that wants to learn. I much prefer to teach someone about the science of what they're doing, or, give them the tools to help them overcome, any anxiety. But that's much more fun than having to motivate someone to turn up to training, or they turn up 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late all the time. Just not, that much fun to have to pull someone out and go, hey, listen, do you really want to do this?
Yeah.
Because I'm expect them to put in the effort back. Otherwise, it just doesn't work that well.
How do you figure that out though? How do you how quickly can you work out how much someone wants it and how much someone is driven and how much someone wants to win? When you how does it go? Can you pick it up in the first time you chat to them, or how do you?
People either have it or they don't. Some people are scared of trying, and they're someone I would never take on anymore.
Right.
I have in the past and got great results, but it takes so much more effort on a daily basis to motivate them and get them thinking like a winner. If they don't think like a winner first up, then they're not going to be at that level. And it's too competitive now, and there's not enough money in it, in Australia. So, unless they're US athletes in the NBA or the NFL or something, and, they're getting paid $20 million a year, then you go, yeah, sure, okay. You can afford to pay me, and they're paying you a weekly thing. So,
yeah.
I've got a high school kid from New York at the moment that I'm chatting to. And, he's got a real future for him, but, it's a matter of, he wants to tick all the boxes. So it's an easy gig.
Yeah.
Because you've got someone that's willing to learn and understand what he's doing and why he's going about it. And that way, there's much more fun to teach an athlete about why and how, rather than just telling them to do it.
Yeah.
And too many coaches now like to have their God complex and just say, okay, this is what I said, you do it. We do it now. Whereas I much prefer to tell them why they're doing it, and then they give me more feedback.
Yeah.
The more feedback they give me, the more I can fine-tune it. Otherwise, they just go, well, I've got plenty of athletes come to me, well, I just feel like crap.
Yeah.
So, well, what's your coach said? Are you supposed to feel like crap? Are you going through a super compensation phase? Are you just training too hard? Are you supposed to be fresh? Are you, and as I said, this is the first thing I've said to this new basketball player. I said, I need your schedule. I can write you 3 programs for 3 phases. That's easy.
Yeah.
But if I don't know your schedule on when you're playing, what tournaments you've got over the next 3 months, then I'm going to overload you. You're not going to play. You're not going to get to college. You're not going to get your dream. Then you say, well, my program was crap. It
Yeah.
wasn't crap. It was just that. It's just that it was. You didn't tell me you had 10-day tournament there. You're playing 2 games a day.
Yeah.
So and he's still trying to go to the gym, or not eating the right way and not getting enough sleep. So you've really got to look at it and see, well, I'd much prefer an athlete come to tell me, go, listen, man, I'm really tired. Do I need to train? I go, well, how tired are you? What is it? Okay, if you're tired, do this, or rest, or sleep, or whatever it is. So you get better conversations from the athletes, and it's the same as anyone. If you teach them about some of the foundation principles of recovery and psychology, and I said if it's a weak athlete, they're just complaining and they just don't want to do the work. Whereas if you're dealing with the right athletes, they come to you and say they're tired, they need a rest.
Yeah.
I guess
they know they need a rest,
Yeah.
and they just need me to say it, so they don't feel bad for missing out, and they don't feel like letting me down. So, but it's just one of those things that it's a different aspect of coaching that, as I said, I don't think a lot of people do anymore.
I don't think a lot of people, as spectators, see it anymore as anything more than just training. I mean, there's so many more aspects you need to tap into, as you mentioned, the psychology part, the food, the sleep. It's all combined, and if one just fails, the rest will fall to the bottom, basically.
Yeah. Because you guys are UFC, aren't you?
No,
you guys UFC.
No, we're mainly CrossFit-based stuff. So
CrossFit.
Functional strength and conditioning, and obviously we have a big. We also do a lot of endurance athletes as well. So
okay, cool.
Training people for
Talking about overtraining, then.
Yeah, talking exactly. That's why I did. And it's actually super fun.
Never overtrain.
The worst. And it's funny what you said earlier, mate. Like, the older they get, the more they want to do more. I don't know if it's so that they can get away from their families or whatever, which sounds terrible, but you and that's almost call it midlife crisis sport, because they're 35 to 45 years old and literally just want to train. I mean, I was out on my bike this morning. I got to the track at 10 past 5, and 3 of our clients' cars were already there. And they'd already gone out on their bikes. So it's like, so we sort of, that's why we feel pretty similar as well. And it's almost like, people are not really understanding the amount of recovery, and we get it, especially at this time of year. A lot of guys, their families are going away for the summertime, obviously stinking hot here, and they're like, right, I want to train 6-7 times a week because I really want to get in shape during the time my family are away. I've got 8 weeks and this and that, and I'm like, dude, you actually need to train less when they're not here and sleep a lot more, and you'll be in great shape when you see them on the beach in Europe.
It's good for business, though, if they want to train more.
Yeah, well, it is, but I also think long term, it's not, mate. I think, like you said, you can write someone a program. We can write programs in any way, shape, or form, and in 3 months, if it doesn't work, as coaches, we look bad. But the program's great. If I give the same program to you, you do it, you sleep well, you recover well, you're going to be fantastic. And we give it to someone else who doesn't do the other bits, and they fail, and suddenly my program's crap. It's for sure.
I had a story for you. My snowboarder was at 2014 Sochi Olympics.
Right.
And he's one that just wants to train all the time.
Yeah.
Great attitude, really good kid. Just wanted to push. And so they freestyle on snow, then they train on snow on the course, and then they do starts, and they do all sorts of different things. And then he does his gym stuff. And 2 weeks out from the Olympics, he tweaked his groin a little bit. This kid just won't rest.
Right.
He thinks resting is 4 hours of surfing, 4 hours of training, and then that's a recovery day for Cam.
Wow.
But he tweaked his groin. It was just like a tweak. It was nothing really, but it scared him. So I said you had to rest. So he rested for the 2 weeks. Come the Olympics, he was flying.
Really?
He was the fastest. Unfortunately, he got taken out in the semi-final, where 6 races, top 3 go through to the final with a 1 in 2 chance of winning a medal. And he was winning and got taken out from behind and crashed out because the Italian guy hit him. And the guy behind him ended up winning the Olympic gold. So a little bit not happy. Circumstances weren't in his favour, but he was flying. And, but that's people don't underestimate recovery and how much you can actually rebound, especially at the end of a period like that.
Yeah.
And in regards to swimming, all the swimmers overtrain all year, and they come to taper, and they have a 3-week taper. I don't know who decided 3 weeks, but they all have to have this 3-week taper. They all do the same with it. Whether they're 1,500 metre swimmer or 100 metre or 50 metre swimmer, they all do the same. So they all get sick 3 weeks out. So the first week, 10 days, none of them hardly train because they're all so ill, because their body, they stop training 70 Ks a week.
Wow.
They're like 40 or 50, which is still too much anyway. And they just get sick. And it's just a constant thing. And over here, they don't change it. They keep on doing the same thing, and they have for 15 years.
Because the book says so, mate. The book says so it must be right.
Somebody said so at one point, and they just kept following. But that's where technology is advancing, but some coaches' minds just can't evolve.
Talk to us a bit about the other kind of athletes you work with, like film stars.
Film stars. Hugh Jackman, he's a performer. So, again, he's at the top of his game. I've worked with him for a number of years, and anything from, food intolerance testing to rehabbing shoulders that have been screwed up by other people. So But at the end of the day, he's a performer. So in 2015, he was based here and he was working out of my gym in Melbourne. He was working with me out in Melbourne. And I went and watched one of his rehearsals for his arena show. So he had a 2-hour arena show and he's dancing with all these, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. And the man, you've got no pop. He loves to train hard. You tell him to do it and he'll just do it. Lift an extra 10 kilos, yeah, sure. Do an extra 10 reps, sure. He loves it. But he had no pop. And because I come from the athletic background, I said, right, we're going to change this around. So by the time your show starts, you're going to be jumping through the roof. Because he was good, but he didn't look as brilliant as he would have wanted to, and he wasn't watching and I was, and said, listen, we can give you a bit more. But at the end of the day, again, all his stuff was trained that he could dance and sing and for 2 hours, and he had to perform. And then, so he did, I think, 16 shows of that all across Australia. And he had 4 in Melbourne, for example, nearly back to back every night. So, wow. He has to be able to remember the songs. So you have to, fuel him. So, I had electrolytes with him. He'd never used electrolytes before because, all the lights and the perspiration and everything. So, you take a step back and you've got to look at all the different factors of performing, and then he's got to have the right food so his brain's working. So you don't just want him to, not be able to think of the songs or remember the lines or the different parts of the stories that he tells. And so it's a whole different thing. And then he was hungry halfway through the show, so we gave him, different foods to eat halfway through the show, and then made sure he was hydrated, magnesium, Epsom salt bars after the show for recovery. And, he had an hour and a bit drive to where he was living at the time after a show. So he finished at, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and he wasn't getting home until 12, and then had to, still rehearse and train and everything, because we're still training for Apocalypse early 2016, February 2016, we shot that. And then April started, it was mid-April, started Logan. But again, he has to act. So he has to remember lines. And so his primary role is acting, not looking good. Yes, he looks great and he's the biggest that he ever was and all that, but my primary focus was that he had to be able to act and not fall asleep because he'd only had chicken and broccoli on a bodybuilder's diet. So we needed to, I took a whole different, viewpoint to it, and, we're doing night shoots, and, so he's up from, we're working till 5:30 in the morning in the middle of the cornfield in Mississippi.
Was your approach, to that industry, taking into consideration all of those things that you've just spoken about for the last couple of minutes, mate, was that something that was very new and very fresh to them, and that they hadn't even, they must have just thought you were an alien? How was that received?
Luckily, one of the producers was very into his fitness.
Yeah.
So it was an easy buy-in.
Right.
The other producer and the director saw how well he was doing on a daily basis, and how well he looked when he had his shirt off and did his shirt off scenes. So they knew that what I was doing was right and was working. So, but yeah, it was totally different. Most of them are bodybuilders that, or just trainers that are in the right spot at the right time. Someone walks in and goes, "Hey, listen, I need someone to work with for this movie." But they don't have the background, and because a lot of them, don't have anything. I worked with Robbie Williams, and he'd never had anyone work with him.
Really?
And so telling him about nutrition and what to eat and how to sleep, and he's a different performer again.
Yeah.
Very different.
So he's a totally different beast, Robbie. But it's getting them ready to perform and making them feel good. Looking good's a big part of it. But if they look good and they feel like crap, even though mentally they think they're good, they're not that good.
Yeah.
So I can't. You've got to be able to. You've got to be able to act. I said, we did 3 weeks of night shoots with Logan, and Hugh's, training at 6 o'clock at night. And then we're going into his hair and makeup. And then he's, we're eating along the way as well. And then till 1:30 in the morning. And then we have lunch where he'll train again. while everyone else was eating lunch. We'd go to his trailer and train for another half an hour.
Wow.
And then he'd go back and act until 5:30, 6 o'clock till the sun came up. Then you've got to go and try to sleep in the middle of the day.
Impossible.
So it's actually, glamorous. I wouldn't call it glamorous being out in the cornfield in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi, in a hotel that was less than 5 stars. Even for him, it was, he doesn't, he's not that sort of actor that cares about the quality of the hotel, but, people think it's all penthouses and parties and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of hard work, and they're, 14 to 16-hour days some days.
Wow.
We did plenty of 6-week days. So, it's one of those things that, you've really got to look and go, well, these guys have to be able to perform. And when you're the lead actor, he's in nearly every scene.
Yeah, right.
So, when too many scenes he's not in. So, it was all about him. So it's not different to a normal X-Men when there's, 7 or 8 of them. So, you're not shooting all day every day. He was shooting all day every day for 4 months. So it's pretty intense, plus training twice a day.
Yeah. That's incredible.
When we're at altitude in New Mexico at 8,000 feet. So,
It sounds like your job is just, there's so many fields that you need to be almost an expert in to help so many different kind of athletes. That must take an insane amount of time. Let's talk about what you have going on for the future, anything you're working on at the moment or anything you're planning to do in the future work-wise.
Yep. I suppose at the moment I'm still working away, but working on doing a bit more talking like this and teaching people how to empower themselves. And
awesome.
So I'm really going to more of the public speaking front just to help people get away from these things. So whether it's like your endurance guy saying, well, the kids are away, the wife's away, I'm going to train 8 times a week, is teach them that they don't need to do that and they can sleep more and do that. So people have these ideas or baggage or whatever it is that they have restricting them from doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Some people just won't train enough. So it's getting them to go, well, if you actually get up and eat properly, then you're going to have enough energy to train. That's their blockage and not being able to get what they want. But everyone has these goals and dreams, but very few people reach them, as you guys would know, because they come up with another excuse, or there's the wife's birthday, so I had to eat this cake and have 28 beers, and, so therefore I can't come tomorrow, and therefore my body fat's too high. And but teaching people how to get around these situations, and really, I suppose a lot of the stuff that I do has always been empowering people, and it's, things that now I'm working on putting together so I can, give back a little bit to people and, help a few people and, so they come to, places like yourself and, they're sort of, their mind's sort of clear and they're ready to go and they're, like we spoke about the type of people that I like to work with already, you're sort of clearing that. So when they come to some guys like you, they go, well, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Tell me what to do and why I'm doing it. And I'm there, I'm in, rather than you having to battle with them for the first 2 weeks saying, well, you haven't eaten this, you wanted to be at this level, you haven't done this, you haven't slept, you haven't trained the amount of times we said, so you're trying to clear those things so people, they're like, okay, I'm ready to go. I
think that's important. Mate, obviously we were connected through Carlin at Men's Health, and you're actually here in Dubai recently, and you might be back in Dubai. Are we allowed to know why Dubai? Is it a secret?
No, I just came to Dubai. I've heard a lot about Dubai, and it was the first time I was there, so it was a really quick trip. And I said I, did some stuff with Men's Health and Women's Health. Did some interviews with them, and also Chris Fade Radio. I was on Virgin Radio with Chris Fade, another Aussie boy. So I was over there. I've had friends that have worked over there and been telling me to come over, and so the timing was just right. And I had a gap in my schedule, so I was there for literally 3 days and flew over and flew back. So probably should have flown on to Europe and checked out Europe as well, but schedule allow that. But no, Dubai seems to have a really good, culture over there with a lot of their fitness stuff, and there's a lot of good guys over there, and
Awesome.
it's an interesting place, and I suppose it's not too far away from here.
Just 14 hours, no problem.
14 hours. Everything's far from here, so it's not,
True.
not really. Singapore's 8 hours, so so the US is 15, 16 hours. So
Yeah.
I fly backwards and forwards there all the time, so flying's an issue for me. But I think there's I got people over there that I'm talking to still, and
Awesome.
so I think Dubai is probably a
Well, man,
place where you'll see me again.
yeah, if you come by next time, you got to drop by the gym.
pop
We'll have
in.
another
Yeah.
chat about something else and
Absolutely.
maybe some training.
Yeah.
Mate, one thing we like to ask people to sort of wrap up the show is, obviously we've learned a lot from you, and that our listeners would have definitely learned a lot, and very cool outlook you have on stuff. But if you could sort of wrap up what you've learned over your years, what would be the one most important piece of advice you would share with someone?
To evolve.
All
You
right.
need to evolve with the times, and what may have worked today might not work tomorrow. What worked yesterday may work tomorrow. You've got to do different people for different things. So too many people get into the one system and they aren't willing to look at alternatives or change or evolve with the time. There's fitness industries is run on fad, and people tend to jump from thing to thing rather than evolving and saying, okay, well, that's good, I could use that. This is good, I can use that. Swiss balls are really big. Now you hardly ever see them, but, you can still do plenty of good things with a Swiss ball.
Yeah.
Same as your chin-ups or, endurance running. A lot of people don't like endurance anymore. It's bad for you. It's, not good, not good for anything. It's not good for weight loss, whereas, it's all a matter of using it for the right purpose at the right time, and
right.
anything's good. It's just a matter of you can understand the science behind it and justify why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And, that's the main thing. If you write a program and you can't justify why you're doing it, then there's an issue. You've just copied it from the internet and you don't know why.
Nah, people don't do that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, they do, trust me. I've had plenty of people copy stuff.
Absolutely.
But you've got to know the reason behind it. So I can give you German volume training, for example, but you don't know why I've given it to a particular athlete at a particular time, and it might be for a totally different reason than you think.
Yeah.
So it can be for hypertrophy. It could be just a mental thing. It could be, it could be just for 1 week. It could be for 4 weeks. People assume they know, and they don't actually know why. So you really got to, evolve and understand philosophies behind things and not just rip stuff off.
We'll
Awesome.
continue to evolve, man. Thank you so much for taking your time. Really appreciate it.
That was awesome, mate.
It's been a great show.
Really good stuff.
Thanks for sharing. And hopefully we'll get in touch soon. And if you come back, you have to drop by.
When I'm back, I'll hit you guys up and come and check you guys out.
Awesome, mate. Thanks a lot for your time, Dito.
Cool.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.
Sweet, boy.
Cheers,
Yeah,
mate.
bye.
Thanks a lot for tuning in to this episode of the podcast, folks, and a big shout out to Dieter. Some really awesome stuff that I think we can all learn a lot from. Of course, if you want to get in contact with the show, drop us an email, winning@innerfight.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. Love to get your questions on the show, or love to get you on the show if that's what you want to do. Until next time, take care.